It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight, we're going to look at a couple engine houses. I haven't done much structure work in a really long time, but if you've been catching Kris from Go Via Go Home's Sunday brunch builds, he started another group build, and most of the people there are doing HO scale. As you guys know, I am N scale. So I thought I would get the N scale kit and give it a try. I've already run into a couple issues, which, you know, stuff happens, but, you know, I guess that's the way it is with model railroading sometime. I got a little bit distracted. I saw this comment here. Apparently, Andy is in Shanghai and is able to watch YouTube. I thought you weren't going to be able to get on YouTube while you were there, but I guess that is not the case. Yeah, so we were just talking about this guy right here. If you're not subscribed, you're probably the one person here not subscribed. But go check out, he does a Sunday brunch build, and I'm going to kind of go through what I've been getting into myself in regards to the build, as well as a couple of other things. Oh, VPN. So you did figure it out. That's good. That's good to hear. So I don't know. I'm still getting used to like how to start these new streams. So I'm just kind of getting into stuff. Let's see. Do I have any events coming up? This weekend, I'm actually going to another op session, which I'm very excited about. If you haven't heard about my drama, I broke one of my throttles, but I fixed the throttle, so I'm all good to go for this weekend. But May 19th, 21st, YouTube meet and greet. Get out there, subscribe to like Sparky and TSG Multimedia, and I don't know, there's so many people coming. If you're coming, let people know so people can reach out. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of videos. I have actually started to pack already for the trip. I have got my micro SD cards all ready to go for the trip. So I'm hoping to do a little bit of videoing. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, that's right. Adam's going. Bernard's going. So yeah, lots of people coming up. I think Michael McCarville's driving up. Michelle Kempema's obviously going to be there. Who else is there? Roy Eltham is going to be there, as well as I think Container Man 68. Roy might be going as well. I'm trying to think who all is going. I can't even remember. Cameron from Caboose 121. Drew Dude, are you going? Is Drew Dude here? I'm not sure if he's here. I haven't seen him yet. James said Sparky is driving. James, are you going with Sparky? Yeah, George, I mentioned Sparky first. So, yeah, I am now overly cautious of doing live streams with other live streamers around, just to make sure that particularly Sparky doesn't drop in and give my streams an NC-17 rating. But yeah, I do know from Canada, I know both Bernard and Sparky are coming. I think Sparky's driving, Bernard's flying. I'll be flying in on the 18th. Adam Cruz is going to pick me up. He has graciously volunteered to do that. So if you're going to be at the airport around 1:30 on Denver, text me, message me. We'll try and connect up for the ride up to Greeley. I think Robert Darby's coming. Yeah. We know, Anthony. We know. Oh, so here's something I can mention as well. This Thursday at 8:45 a.m., I'm going to start doing another sort of video series. And yes, they are an edit of my live streams, but it's been a little while, so I think it's a good time to post them. But I was talking to another YouTuber, and I got inspired to get back into editing, and I'm going to try and start doing some more edited videos and see how that goes for a little bit. But for the next at least 4 Thursdays, because I've got those videos edited and uploaded already, there'll be excerpts from my Amherst live streams. So I did a lot of interviews / conversations while I was at Amherst, and a lot of them I thought were pretty interesting. I did not interview Bernard from Mini Prints, so there will be no blooper reel, but we all know where we can find Bernard. But yeah, so 8:45 on Thursdays for the next couple of weeks until we'll see how it goes. But they're little chunks out of the Amherst live streams that it won't be all inclusive, but you know, it'll be I don't know. I thought they were interesting. I didn't remember some of the conversations exactly the way they happened, which I thought was interesting. There were some things in the conversations that I was like, oh, like I didn't hear that the first time. So at least the editing was interesting for me. Hopefully it'll be interesting for everybody else as well. So before we get into this build and get into all this other stuff, let me just throw up my thank you video. I missed it last week, and I kind of felt bad because I did just update it. There were some new people, so I wanted to throw that up there, but I do also need to thank the sponsors. Don't forget, use the sponsors, and don't forget to use the discount code, PGH, Train Fanatic, Mini Prints, Iron Planet Hobbies. They all cater to different parts of the hobby, but they're all people that support what we as modelers do, and as well support this whole YouTube crazy community that we have online. So if nothing else, say thank you, check out their stuff, but if something that you need fits what they sell, check them out.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
So what did I miss? Did I miss anything? It is really hot in the studio tonight, so I'm not sure how long this is going to go, and or I may need to take a break and open up these blinds a little bit. They are doing work in this area, and the smells are coming in from outside and from downstairs, so I've got everything kind of shut down and closed in, and just makes things warm. Let's get into this a little bit. So Kris from Go Via Go Home is doing a Sunday brunch build, and he's doing it of this kit, this Walthers kit. He has the HO version, and I got the N scale version. The box is just massive on this thing, and I saw this and I looked at my layout and I said, I'm not sure how this is gonna fit. So I started doing a little bit of lining up. Let's see if I can, let's see. So I started doing a little lining up, kind of taking the, taking the different openings, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be too big for my layout as it exists right now. So that's okay though. I'm still going to get into it. And somebody just mentioned a comment. Let's talk about it just slightly. So that's my understanding as well, that DigiKeys is no longer around. Iron Planet Hobbies is working with Karst, who was one of the main developers at DigiKeys, who's now with another company. It's putting out new products. They're supposed to be doing a big US rollout this month. So stay tuned. There are DigiKeys influenced products, I would say. They have a similar mentality, a similar operating structure or whatnot as the DigiKeys stuff, but they are a different company. So keep your eye out, but that's coming. Dwight, if you're asking me, I did not. Feel free to ask it again, and I will try and keep an eye on it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Dragon Ball, this box is just, it's just crazy. So a long time ago, probably over a year ago, I bought this Pike Stuff kit because the idea was that this was going to be my engine house. And if we look at the opening, if we want to compare the openings, so this is the opening to the Pike Stuff engine house, and this is the opening to the Walthers engine house. So this was my original plan, and then this is what Kris was building at Go Via Go Home, so I thought I would check it out. And then as I was kind of poking around, I don't know. We'll have to ask a UP engineer. Maybe they'll know the answer. So I decided. So I've got these two options. I've got a Walthers option. I got a Pike Stuff option. Then I said, let's find out. So this is an Outland Models option. It did come in multiple pieces. If you go watch Kris's last Sunday stream, you can see me struggle to put it together a little bit. You can see all the print marks. It was obviously printed with a filament printer. The windows came already pre-attached. So if I wanted to try and sand this down and make this nice and smooth, I don't think I would be able to. Ralph is asking, is the opening the same width? No. What I noticed as well that I thought was kind of interesting is the height difference. The Pike Stuff is just a little bit higher than the Outland Models, but the Walthers is significantly taller. And when I bring this over to here, let's go to this other one. When I bring this over to here, the height of this engine yard house that you can kind of make out is just taller than some of these locomotives. So I'm not really... They fit. Oh! I just figured it out. What did Adam say? There you go. Yep, that is what I just noticed as well. In here, there's a window above the door opening that is not in here that brings the height down. See, that's what I get comparing things before I've built them together. I'm not using Kato track, and all of my track is actually at the same level. It's all at 0 inches, so there's actually no track bed. The idea being that this was just sort of going to be a branch line at one point. That idea kind of changed a bit, but the original plan was that it was just going to be a branch line, and it was just all going to be at grade. Now I've got some new ideas, but the engine yard, the track is just right on the, right on the same surface. So what I'm thinking of doing is, it's going to take me a while to build this other stuff. Every project takes me forever because I get distracted and start working on other projects. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to start putting together some of these Walthers pieces to try and catch up with Go Via Go Home's build series. I don't know how successful I'm going to be. Yes, so the Pike Stuff is meant to be scratch built. Is that the right word? Kit bashed. It's meant to be kit bashed. This version doesn't have any windows in it. I actually bought windows. I wanted an engine house that you can see inside of. I kind of thought, what's the point of an engine house if you can't, well, on a model railroad, you can't see it. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to put this together. I'm going to cut this one leg off. And the reason I'm cutting this one leg off is that if I cut this off, I can get the 3 tracks that I have sitting there. I can get all 3 of them within this opening. So I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to add a door on here. And then it's kind of going to hang off the layout. I think that's, I don't really have enough room for it to not hang off the layout. So it's going to hang off the layout a little bit. But I think it's okay to just start getting an idea. I'm not ready for scenery. I'm just not. But I wanted a little distraction from the operations to kind of go back and forth amongst projects. So I thought finally getting into this would be kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know that I need a distraction fund. I think I am very good at it on my own, but Andrew, thank you so much for the super chat. I do really appreciate it. Ray Arnott from Around the Layout podcast says, no windows on mine, it is more secure that way. That is true. That is true. It would definitely be a more secure facility, but I'm willing to risk it. And I do think, Dennis, I was a little worried about that. I can, if I need to, add some maybe center pillars and support the roof, but it's an N scale model, so I'm kind of thinking it's not gonna completely fall apart by just cutting that one leg out. So I'm going to get over here. We're 20 minutes in. Let's start gluing something together. What? This box is huge. So I thought maybe this box, well, I didn't think this. Somebody else thought maybe the box was this big because the base was this big. So the base of this is 10 inches by, or 11 inches by 7 inches. But this box is 15 inches by 10 inches. This is a big, big box. So let's get this out of the way. I don't remember where I got these. I think these might be the Process / Bachmann ones. I'm actually, these came in very handy as I was trying to mock this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the 2 short sides and use these first, you know, on the corners. I'll let them dry for a second. I'll move over. I'll start working on this. When those dry, we'll flip it over and we'll do the other set of them. So yeah, let's get these going. Andrew, you haven't missed a thing. What is a lolly column? Is that what the column inside an engine house is called? Is a lolly column? I'm guessing that's like the architectural term, probably not the engine house specific term. So these are nice. If you don't know, they have these cutouts here specifically so that when you go to glue your models together, you can actually get the glue in behind your clamps. Because if your clamps went right into the corner, there would be no way to glue them. And they're nice being magnetic. You can kind of tweak things around, push things around a little bit, and try and get a nice, clean little corner with it. Rather than knocking out the pillar, try moving it over the existing track. If I was going to keep this, I would try and do that a little bit more. If I were, because I'm not really going to do much to this except probably throw it away at some point, I'm not going to bother. But yeah, probably with the Pike Stuff one, I would probably just move things around. Ray says, a lolly column supports the beam between the tracks for the roof. I have 3 passenger stations to work on, but till I get the modules started for them, I don't think they're coming out of the boxes. And that's it as well, where, you know, this is just a little bit of a distraction because, not that I need any distractions. I agree, I like these magnets and they are pretty fancy. I think these are from Process. Let's see, Process, Bachmann maybe, corner clamp. Let's see if I can find them. So yeah, so they're on Amazon apparently as Bachmann Industries 4 magnetic clamps with 16 magnets snap glue set. So I'm gonna post the link in the chat, so if anybody's interested, they can check them out. So that's for the corner magnets. Don't throw it away, offer it for free. You can buy this. You can buy this guy for, I think it was 20 bucks free shipping. So for me to actually ship it to somebody, it probably, you're probably better off just going on eBay and buying one. It's Outland Models 3-bay engine house. They make it in N scale, they make it in HO scale. It would take a lot of work. I don't know how well you can see this in the video here. If I zoom in, can you make out? So you can see all the print lines. So to get all those print lines out and make it really worth putting on your layout, I think is going to be more work than it's worth. So, oh no, it's rated for age range 168 months. Oh, does it really say 168 months? I have no idea what that means. But yeah, you can find those magnets elsewhere. I don't know that they're, I just noticed they were $45. I don't remember spending $45 on just these magnets. You could also get that, what's that company called? Micromark over in New Jersey. They've got some various clamp things as well that you could use instead of these. I just happen to have a little bit of everything, so I thought I would give these a try. A lot of the reason I'm doing this as well is just to learn. Hopefully I'll learn something, and hopefully I'll learn more than I will break, but can't guarantee that either. Okay, so we got this together. I am actually going to glue this together up in this orientation. The reason I'm going to do that is because I want to get the glue actually in this seam a little bit. And I'm thinking that if I glue it up in this orientation, that the glue might pull itself into the seam a little bit better. And the other thing I'm going to do, the corners aren't quite holding themselves together in the center. So I've now got a good connection on the ends. Let's just do this. Looks like I'm going to glue these one at a time. So I'm going to make this corner come together a little bit better because it's not. I was going to use tape, but I don't know. Yeah, it's still, that's not pulling it together. We'll use tape on it. One thing I'm not good with is patience, but I am learning the more time you kind of take to, to line up these basic elements, that it pays off on the other end. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of time here. Yeah, learning through these mistakes is fun. Is it 82 bucks? It's probably 82 bucks from Amazon. I bet you if you reached out to Lorne at OVR, he could probably get them. I'm assuming he's probably got some relationship with some Bachman something, and he could probably get them without some of those import costs. Container Man, are you doing the math? Is 168 months 14 years? I guess that makes sense, right? 168 divided by 12 is 14. All right, so we're adding a little glue. Now my fear is that if I do this, that I will end up gluing the tape to it, but we can work that out as well. Ray or not, if you don't know Lorne, you should say hello to Lorne. Oh wait, you know Lorne. Lorne's been on your show. Lorne from OVR. I didn't realize you were being funny. I kind of missed it. Trackside Mike says they have them in stock. I think might be referring to OVR as a they, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Kris, at the rate I'm going, I know you just said, Mike, did you finish yours yet? At the rate I'm going, I will probably end up finishing mine in about 20 years or so. I just opened the air conditioner. It was too hot. Okay, let's actually glue this. I'm using Tamiya Extra Thin Quick Setting Cement. I'm hoping that it is going to wick itself into this corner a little bit and get a nice little connection and a little seal on this. Hopefully we'll find out. If it doesn't, we'll know in a couple minutes when I go to pull it apart if the whole thing comes apart. If you guys have been with this channel for a long time, you know that I am terrible with glue. I always end up using a lot more glue than is ever needed, but I don't know. I don't trust the glue, so I end up using more than I need. Right, so that's the corner there. Oh, so they are. So they're $75 at OVR. So I probably did pay 45 then. They are nice. They are nice. Heath, you need a partner to bounce things off like Andy and I do. Yeah. And I do. I have a Discord channel that we post a bunch of stuff on. Ralph is on the Discord. There are other people on the Discord as well. And we post up pictures, post up some ideas. I've been doing a lot of that there. There's also Facebook as well. I've got, my Facebook group, but there's a lot of really good Facebook groups out there. I think Ralph, if I'm not mistaken, has a weathering Facebook group. But like Ray or Not for Around the Layout has a Facebook group. And there's a bunch of options out there for ideas and whatnot. So, all right, so we're going to let that set up while I cut this off. So I am going to get one of these, and this is just a pretty snug fit, and I'm going to put it in there, and then we'll cut that off. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to cut that off. I probably should have cut it off before I glued it all together, but I didn't. Martin says, try sniffing the glue. I don't advise that. It does say use in a well-ventilated area. Tighten cap securely after each use. Adult modelers only, ages 14 and above. So Martin, I think that unfortunately leave it out. Dwight Curley, so the thing that goes back and forth is called the Motorman. It is from Iowa Scaled Engineering. If you buy one from Iowa Scaled Engineering, use the code HUMAN, and I forget exactly what the discount is, but there is a discount, so you can get that. I'll drop the link in the chat for it, but I think the discount's like $25. So ISE Motorman. So yeah, use the code HUMAN at checkout. That's what I use to. That's what I use. So Ralph says, yes, you are correct, Heath. It's Weathering a Touch of Yesterday, which is Ralph's Facebook group. If you're into weathering, that would be something to check out. Barry Olson says Kaufman clamps from Micromark are a lot cheaper. I think part of the issue is these guys that are looking are up in Canada, so I think they're dealing a little bit with that as well. So here's the thing with accelerator spray, at least that I've been told. I have not actually done experiments on this, but this is what I was told. When you use accelerator with CA, the CA glue doesn't soak into what you're gluing as well, so the connections are a little bit more brittle than if you just let the CA glue air dry. Right, so CA glue, the way it dries, or at least my understanding of the way it dries, is that the solvents evaporate, and what what you're left with is that glue attachment. So if you're using the accelerator, you're bypassing that process. I don't know how true that is. I'm curious if anybody's actually done the tests. I also don't think accelerator works with this. This is plastic solvent, I believe. This is not glue. This is not a CA glue. This is a plastic solvent. There's so many different kinds of glue. There's so many better people out there that can explain it in ways that I probably couldn't even begin to explain. So Possum Bayou, what I'm doing is Kris from Go Via Go Home is doing a engine house build along with the Walthers engine house. Just because I like to make everything as complicated as possible, I got the Walthers engine house, an Outland Models engine house, and a Pike Stuff engine house. I am working on the Walthers and the Outland Models one today. I am going to cut this one apart, hopefully carefully, and go there. Jimmy from DIY says, I do know CA gets a little warm when an accelerant is applied. And I also heard accelerant for CA glue is water, if I'm not mistaken. But the only thing for, you can also use baking soda, I think I heard. I don't really understand. And Ralph says, yes, they do have a fast dry thin Tamiya glue. So this color is the extra thin quick setting. And here is the, if you want the non-quick setting, it is also a green top, but it is a slightly different green top. So these are both Tamiya extra thin. This one says quick setting and this one doesn't. I don't really know what the difference is. But yeah, so yes, I've heard, so the solvent, just like how MEK is a solvent, and you know, there are other things that actually melt the plastic. That's what this does. CA glue, I don't believe, melts it. Oh, see, I didn't know that. So you can just use IPA as your accelerant. I do know you don't need to buy, I've been told, like, you don't need to buy the expensive accelerant. You're just kind of wasting money that you can others. Oh, so this is acetone. Acetone and benzenamine. And maybe something else that I can't see over here that says ethanol on it. But this is what I have for the accelerator for CA glue. But I try not to use it when possible. I try and just clamp stuff up. This is my my bin of sticky stuff. If you haven't, maybe you haven't seen that. Is that the difference? 5 minutes versus 2 minutes? So it's just evaporating quickly. I have not tried Plastruct. I haven't tried the orange top. I haven't tried Model Masters. Don't use CA glue plus accelerant near plastic. I'm curious why. I heard talcum powder makes it stronger. Super glue, we just use IPA. So there you go. A bunch of people saying IPA. Does the accelerator work? No, it doesn't. Don't use CA on plastic. There you go. A couple of people saying that. Does it melt the plastic, I'm guessing? Oh, it'll fog clear plastic? CA. Oh, yeah, right. Right. There is a website called, is it This to That? Yeah, there's this website. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It's called This to That. And you just kind of, you go in and you just type in, I want to attach, let's say, plastic to styrofoam, let's glue, and it says what to use for a faster, less toxic alternative. Recommend hot glue. The strongest is LePage's regular epoxy. Let's see what they say for plastic to plastic. PVC adhesive, household goop. I'm guessing this is sponsored by LePage because that's what seems to keep popping up for things. But yeah, so this is kind of a neat little website, JB Weld. Clamping makes the difference between success and failure. So that's a cool little website that I know about that may or may not interest people. And I mostly use CA glue when I don't know what the material is. I just got this glue as well, JB Weld plastic bonder. I had to bond some nylon together, or a part that was made out of nylon. So I used this version of JB Weld and not this. I have this somewhere. I've got the other part. But I've got this version of JB Weld, and now I got this version of JB Weld. You know, I got all the CA glue. I don't know why I have this in here, but my bullfrog snot is in my sticky stuff bin. I've got some plastic putty I don't know. I collect things. What can I say? No, I'm not a hoarder. I just collect things. I have not been able to find this in a place yet that I've been where it hasn't been really expensive, so I haven't got it because it makes your wheels more sticky. That was the theory. That was the original theory. All right, so what do we think I should use to best cut this out and not cut myself? I'm almost thinking about just taking these dikes and just sort of like cutting it and then sanding it down, which I think is probably going to be what I am going to do. Andy, have fun at work today. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Joey says clamping makes the difference between a solid joint between two planks of wood and a first aid kit. I don't disagree. Yeah, we don't have Hobby Lobbies in this area. So unfortunately, well, there are Hobby Lobbies in like Long Island and stuff. There's just not Hobby Lobbies that I can get to as well. CA is a mechanical bond that becomes brittle after a time. Tamiya glue, Plastruct are glues that weld plastic. And I'm curious about CA glue, whether that is if you use accelerator or not, and what the if there's a difference in how it holds up over time, because I'm kind of thinking there might be. When in doubt, I'm going to take the end of this off just so I can see if it like cracks in a way. Nope, that actually cut pretty easily. So we're just going to keep cutting that down. So if you missed it, my tracks are not spaced out wide enough to actually get them to fit in these doors. This is just going to be a little temporary thing for my layout, just to kind of visually give a sense of where the engine facility is located. So for that reason, I'm just kind of making a mess out of it. I don't really, you know, I just can't be too bothered by it. True CA will go brittle. Yeah, with plastic, I definitely prefer the weld. I haven't done any styrene stuff. Or what's the stuff that you can't, there's some stuff that you can't use this, but you have to use like MEK or something to actually do the bond, and I forget what the difference in material is. But I remember when Luke Towan was talking about using the MEK on something he was, I think, 3D printing and then building. Well, I guess if you're 3D printing, I know some people will use the resin that cures with light, and you could just put more resin on it and then cure it. What has MEK in it? This has MEK in it. All right, so so I cut it off. It's nice and short. I got the file out. I'm going to come back and file that in a second. But before I file it, let's glue the other side of this together so that we can finish that off. Talking about getting distracted, right? Jumping back and forth between projects, even within one live stream. That's probably just not the wisest thing in the world, but this is holding together pretty good. Looks like my glue joints worked out pretty well. A decent seam. So I'm going to glue this together and then I'm going to prime it. I was thinking about priming all of this on the sprues, but I thought for these main structure part that I would glue this so I get a nice glue on the edges, and then things like windows and whatnot I'll definitely paint before I put this all together and whatnot. I finally cleaned up the area behind me. It was such a mess I could barely walk around, so I can actually get to my paint booth now, which I could not get to a few days ago. So that was actually last weekend's project, was cleaning that up. I'll probably use the tape again. That seemed to work pretty well. I took the tape off fairly early in the drying process, which I think improved the chances that I could get it off without it sticking. Now, I keep hearing different things. I keep hearing that you can't get MEK in the US, and then some people say, yes, you can get MEK in the US. So I'm kind of curious what the truth is. I haven't really looked for it. Maybe that's one thing I'll do this weekend. I'm going pretty far out into Long Island this weekend, and usually when I do that, I'll stop by a Home Depot on the way home, because who doesn't love going to Home Depot? It is my second favorite toy store compared to model railroad hobby shops. So looks kind of squarish. I guess I could use the square here to see. Yep, that looks pretty square. Let's tape this corner up and go from there. Yeah, these are good. They're making this go together pretty easily. Never leave a tube of glue on your knife. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I've heard that super glue was invented as a as like a battlefield replacement for stitches or something like that. I don't know how true that is, but that is what I've heard. I do know if you get super glue in a cut that it hurts like crazy, so I don't know that I will necessarily use it as a first choice, but it probably would do pretty good as a second choice. All right, so we're going to do this again where we tip this up. The reason I'm tipping it up on this end is because of the way the joint is made. There's a little bit of an overlap. So, yeah, so I get that, it'll drip in a little more if I put it up on end. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's because the EPA stuff, it's harder to get. But super glue makes a great bandage. Magnets and tape, yes. So the reason for the tape, the magnets are getting everything aligned. But the magnet, when I put it, the magnet was here and the magnet was here. And I was getting a little bit of separation in the center. So to close the gap on the center area, I'm using tape to close that. So the magnets aligned it. Then the tape is kind of securing the seam. That's another reason I have this bin of kind of commonly used things that I keep right on the corner of my desk. It's got scissors, wire strippers, X-Acto knife, a small screwdriver, and I do actually have some of this CA glue with the little squeezy things, because I find this doesn't dry out as quick as like this super glue stuff. I find dries out so quickly, but this stuff seems to not dry out. So I got all that in my little quick reach bin on my desk. What? Is that true? And I didn't know this either. Super glue is sterile? I would not have imagined that super glue is sterile. I mean, I guess it just burns everything. So let's turn this around. I'm liking these cutouts in these magnets. It definitely helps get the glue into all the corners. You don't have to like glue it and then, you know, wait to get to that area. You can just glue it all at once. So that's kind of nice. So the Band-Aids aren't there. The Band-Aids are just off the desk to the left. Lynn McCurdy did get me some Band-Aids, and I definitely still have those very readily handy. I did actually not too long ago actually broke them out. I forget what I did to myself. Somebody might remember. But yeah, I did have to use the Band-Aids recently. So the thing with this stuff that I guess I don't really know is I can't see it going on. So I have no idea if it's actually going on, if it's in there, if it's working, what it's doing. And I feel a little bit like you just got to kind of trust that it's going in there. Yeah, so yeah, Mike, I've seen that. I've seen that you can get industrial sizes of MEK. I've thought of just trying to find, though, like a small bottle of it, but I can't. I have not been able to find just a little small bottle of it. Loctite in the blue tube. When empty, you can still cut the... Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. That's good news. He doesn't... Yeah, I have the blue tape. That is true. That is true. Soldering iron to seal up the cut could work if you're into that kind of thing. That is true. That is true. Try a marine supply place. You would think, being in New York City, which is an island, Manhattan is an island that New York City is on, you would think we'd have a lot of marine supply places, but maybe shocking to some, there are none. There are none. Try to dry the cut, hold the cut skin together, and run the super glue across. Who knew that tonight's show was going to turn into a medical show? It was not something I could have predicted, but once again, we are slightly off our rockers. So now I guess the thing to do is to try, I don't know how noisy that is for everybody. Is that noisy for people? Yeah, see here, if I had like a garage or something, or even a basement that was bigger than my little studio, I could see kind of like getting some like that and like holding on to it. I'm just not so sure in this space that I want MEK in here. There are days that I'm not sure that I want acetone in here either. I've got acetone, lacquer thinner, and a couple of those things. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. This is not working as well as I had hoped. It is kind of just sort of making it stringy. It's not actually filing it. It's just sort of making a mess of it. I don't know. Maybe it's getting there. So it's making all kinds of noise over here. Go look at what's under this thing. Boy, yeah, all those MSDS, if you start getting into reading those, woo, I don't know. I prefer sanding sticks over metal files. I don't have sanding, I do have sanding sticks. I have emery boards. I don't really have sanding sticks. But that would probably, the idea was I was going to use this to kind of get it down to a certain place where then I could sand it. I didn't know they made files just for plastic, but that would be cool. File in circles, kind of like how a Dremel spins, or James says I won't keep that stuff. Oh, I didn't know that. Acetone is mild compared to MEK. Yeah, I haven't really looked at them too much. Get some sanding pads or sticks where it's better than a file. Maybe I will, so my sanding, I've cleaned up. I still need to organize. The organizing part means taking the tools that are in this corner back here behind me that I can't really get to. and putting them in drawers that are much more accessible. So if I did that, then I could get to where my sanding sticks and everything actually are located, which is... I thought you all came here to watch me do things in the wrong way anyway. Your emery board will work better than your file? Oh, interesting. Sanding sticks are way better. I'm getting closer. You guys are gonna guilt me into going and getting the sanding sticks though. It's kind of getting there. Let's see. Okay. We're delving in here. You guys won't be able to see this, but there is a lot of stuff in front of the sanding drawer that we're pulling out of the way. And these are some of the sanding sticks that I have. And they're actually labeled as sanding sticks, 100, 180. Oh, I guess, oh, it looks like it's foam on one side and stick on the other, kind of. This is 150, 180. I don't have a 60. So these look like they're for more. Do I have, oh, here's another one. Let's see. Oh, that one's 240. So some of them looks like they're double-sided, but some of them are just single-sided. 150, 100. Let's try the 100 first. File more lengthwise. File faster. It's a regular file, but oh, yeah, I got it. Got it. Sanding sticks. Go to a framer and ask to buy a few of their sanding sticks. Huh, I didn't know framers use sanding sticks? So would you consider these emery boards, or these, I think I found these on Amazon or something. So I think these are actual sanding sticks. I would guess they are because they've got grits listed on them, but I don't know. Yeah. I do actually have some fingernail polish, but the last time I got acetone, I went to the paint store because we do have a paint store. We don't have a marine supply, but we do have a paint store. So I'm hoping now that I got this most of the way there, that I'll kind of be able to use these to sort of clean it up a little bit. And maybe get in here a little bit, get that back edge cleaned up. Yeah, don't do what I do. Do what people in chat say you should do, and you'll probably have a lot more luck. But when you don't have the right tools, just use whatever tool you have. And this is the other thing. It's I do have just like sheets of sandpaper and stuff, and I'll tape a sheet of sandpaper to my desk, and I'll use that like when I'm building a plastic kit to just kind of, sand off the edges of things and whatnot. And I like having the sandpaper on my desk because then I know that it's square. Yeah. Huh. Now I got to look at framing sanding sticks. I did not know that was a thing. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. The construction that I do rarely, well, I wouldn't say it rarely involves, but it's not like wood house construction. There's a lot more metal and drywall and stuff. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody doing metal framing these days. All the framing seems to, or wood framing these days. All the framing seems to be metal. Yeah, this one's 150. So this one is stiffer. This one's much more flexible. So, oh, I didn't know that. Some nail polish removers have a small amount of oil in them. I don't think the one I had oil. I just got like the store brand from the local drugstore. Isn't this exciting? Modifying an Outland Models 3-bay. Just have a larger door. And the point of the larger door is so that it will fit over all 3 of my tracks in the space of the 2 doors, because I put my tracks very close together and not based on any of these kits. So let's go sit this on the layout and see what it looks like. Daniel says we're all making it up as we go too. Exactly. I would get the Dremel, but the Dremel is harder to get than everything else. So here's the idea. Let's see. If we go to this one. Yeah, so the engine yard is way down here on this end. So that's where I plan on putting this. So this would slide right up in here. Let's see, is it at the end? And theoretically, I'll need to cut some more out, because it'll only fit the 2 tracks. The third one won't fit. It's too tight. But that's kind of the idea, is just to kind of have it there as a general idea, you know, just kind of make it fit. Hopefully I'll have enough room on this track to get by. But yeah, I'll probably just cut this open. Not that. I'll probably just cut this open, you know, all the way back to the corner, and I'll probably cut, like, let's say half of this off, just to make it a little wider, make it fit a little better, and to get in there. Daniel says I buy the Wild West stuff from Outland. Yeah, I do have some Outland stuff as well. These are from Outland, and I painted them up a little bit, weathered them a little bit, and they look half decent. This is from Outland Models, and I don't think it looks as good as some of the other stuff. I haven't really tried to do anything with it yet. And again, a lot of that's just because of you can see all the printing marks. It's not resin printed, it's whatever they call it, PLA. So yeah, it's I think it's good for like mocking up stuff, and that's kind of why I got those docks, is because I wanted to mock up some of the spots on my railroad, and they worked relatively well for that. This is actually Outland Models as well. I broke it a little bit getting it off the flashing. They had left some stuff on it. The bottom's bent a little bit, but it's a nice little yard tower just to give a little placement. And I could probably spray it up and stuff. Because my bench work is so narrow, though, a lot of these buildings become sort of focal points. So any of the imperfections, I think you're gonna see as well. What did I say about PLA? I said the Outland Model stuff is built out of PLA. So that's what I said about it. So let's take a look and let's see if this is staying together in one piece. I'm gonna imagine that it is, because why wouldn't it be? I probably should have taken the tape off a little earlier. It came off okay. That corner's not as good as some of the other corners. Jimmy, I would love that. I would love that. Jimmy, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I did mention that I was having an exchange with a model railroader about some just some ideas and some things that were going on. And I got inspired to get back into some editing. So Thursday mornings at 8:45, the first sort of series that I'm doing are edits from my live shows at Amherst. And I wanted to get some of the interesting conversations into shorter videos so that I could promote those conversations. And so hopefully more people than who just caught the live streams could see them as well. That is true, Dave. Outland is 1/150th, so it is a little bit bigger. And Rusty, I don't know how much that would spoil your fun, because there are still things I would need to do to it. But so here's the start of the Woodland Scenics one, and we can walk this one over to the layout as well. Let's go to this view, because I think we can see just how much bigger this one is than any of the other ones. It's just massive. It's just massive. And I don't, maybe in a future life, in a future world of mine, I might be able to find a, oh, well, you get an idea. I know that's on its side. That might one day fit on a layout I build. But for now, I mean, you can tell this one is just so much smaller. Definitely kind of fits a little bit better on the layout. There you go. Cheap emery boards, 20 for $3 at Target. There you go. I wet sand PLA with 400. Yeah, and it's not worth, it's just not worth it to me to sand that. I've got this kit here, which is the Pike Stuff kit, and I've got some windows for that. So I think this is the kit that I would spend the time on. This kit was also $20. The windows were obviously extra above that cost, but $20 for this Pike Stuff kit, $20 for the Outland Models kit, $52 I think it was for the Engine House kit. But yeah, I'll keep doing some more on that Engine House kit, just because it's fun and just because it's something to do. I think it's interesting. I will still also be doing more. Sorry, I'm like, my mind sometimes blanks out. I'm also going to be doing more operations. I finally went through, actually right before this show, while I was watching Redbird Tony, I went through and organized all of my new car cards, so they are now with the trains that are actually on the layout, so I can start doing some more waybills and more train movement and that sort of thing. Still organizing the train shop, going to Greeley, so there'll be some stuff coming from Greeley as well. But if you've enjoyed the show, please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Check out your fellow model railroaders' channels. And from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.